Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to deconstruct a really common classic challenge to Christian belief. You've probably heard it before. It's often called the Leviticus challenge. We're going to dig into exactly how this argument gets put together and, why it seems to stick around. So let's just jump right in. The whole conversation really boils down to this one big question of consistency. It's a challenge you hear all the time in modern debates, right? And the source material we're looking at really frames this as the main objection you have to get your head around before you can even think about answering it. Okay, so to really get a handle on this specific argument, we kind of have to zoom out a bit. We need to understand the world it comes from, which is this field called Christian apologetics. So what is that exactly? First thing to know is apologetics has nothing to do with apologizing for your faith. That's a common mix-up. The way the term is used here, it's all about giving a defense, making a logical, reasoned case for what you believe and being ready to answer objections. At its heart, it's really a discipline of intellectual engagement. And this whole practice is really framed in two different modes. It's not just about sitting back and waiting for questions to come your way. There's what they call offense, which is proactively making the case for Christianity. And then there's defense, which is all about responding to those external challenges and questions. So this idea of playing offense and defense, well, it actually fits into a much bigger picture. The argument here is that these kinds of conversations never just happen in a vacuum, right? They're always part of someone's larger worldview. And that's the key idea here. Every single one of us, you, me, everybody, is operating from some kind of worldview. And that worldview, it doesn't matter if it's religious or totally secular, is basically an attempt to answer a few really big, fundamental questions about life and reality. And here they are. This slide lays out the 4 big questions from the source material. It starts with, why is there something rather than nothing, and goes all the way to, how does the story conclude? The whole point is that every single belief system, whether it's religious or not, is trying to offer answers to these massive human questions. Okay, so now that we have that framework in mind, let's see how it actually gets applied to a really common modern objection. This is where the rubber meets the road, where all that theory gets put into practice. And here's the thing. The source material really zeroes in on one specific topic as a major flashpoint. It's an issue where the consistency of the Christian worldview gets challenged a lot, and often it's one of the first things to come up in a conversation. And boom, here it is. This is the core challenge we're unpacking today. It's basically framed as an accusation of hypocrisy, right? The charge is that believers are just picking and choosing which ancient laws they want to follow while totally ignoring others from the exact same book. Now, to really feel the full weight of this objection, you have to look at the specific examples they bring up. That's where the argument gets its punch, from the direct side-by-side comparisons it makes. Okay, this table right here, this is the absolute heart of the challenge, all laid out visually. You can see these different laws from the book of Leviticus just sitting there right next to each other. The whole force of the argument comes from this visual, doesn't it? You've got one rule that's upheld by some, while these others, from the very same text, are almost totally ignored by most people today. It's all designed to scream double standard. And it doesn't even stop there. The source material points out that more examples get thrown in to make the objection even stronger. Like, what about the rule from Leviticus about not shaving the sides of your beard? Every one of these examples is just another log on the fire, another piece of evidence for this accusation of inconsistency. So, this is the final push, the real core of the challenge. See, it's not really about tattoos or shellfish at the end of the day. The deeper question is about the principle itself. How can you treat one rule as this timeless, universal moral command, but then turn around and dismiss others as just culturally outdated? That's the intellectual puzzle that's being put on the table. And what's interesting is, the source material we're looking at presents this objection in its strongest possible form, and then just leaves it hanging there as an open question for the audience. The challenge is crystal clear. Is this just a case of picking and choosing what you like, or is there some kind of consistent principle for interpreting these texts that maybe we're just not seeing? And that, right there, is the essence of the Leviticus challenge.